The New York Knicks' plans for their backup point guard spot may have just been revealed, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because SNY New York Knicks insider Ian Begley broke down a bunch of the discourse between the three backup point guards or potential backup point guards the New York Knicks could use as their main guy behind Jalen Brunson in all of Tyler Kolek, Cameron Payne, and Miles McBride. And let's just jump right in because it's a lot of information, so let's do it. Guys, Begley mentioned if you're the Knicks, you need a veteran center that can come in and start 30 games or so, or has the ability to do that as your backup big right now. That player isn't on the free agent market. It would have to be via trade here for NY. The Knicks did not want to include Deuce McBride in the Mikal Bridges trade, but there comes a point where they need to fill this spot, and Begley thinks McBride would be at the center of what teams would want for a backup big man. Now, here's the deal. Even if Deuce McBride is on the Knicks for all year next year, doesn't get traded for a backup big man, I'll say this. He's not playing point guard. He's going to be a two guard, and they're going to run 10-man deep. They're going to have either Kolek or Payne, along with Deuce, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and that center to be named later, whether it's Jericho Sims or Precious Achiuwa in this scenario, whether they work something out, maybe it's Dimitrios Skapistev. It could be a few different guys. Now, this is also where the Cameron Payne signing gets interesting. What if it's Cameron Payne for a bit, the Knicks realize that they like Kolek better, they're fine with a 10-man rotation, and then they use that $3.1 million expiring contract of Cameron Payne, along with some draft picks, to move for a center at the deadline so they can get more of a veteran presence in there, or just more of a center who you can trust if Mitch goes down with an injury in there. Because frankly, if you're a contender and you're running out one of Jericho Sims, Precious Achiuwa, or Skapistev as your starting center, also Ariel Hukporti, who's on the two-way deal, that's not a great look. I don't trust that they'd be able to get it done because all of them are young, unproven, or undersized in Precious's case. Now, I know Skapistev looks really good. I understand that Precious Achiuwa did really well. I understand that Jericho Sims is an option, and so is Hukporti. None of them are proven to be a starting center on a contending level team, so it worries me that that would be the backup option. Now, if they want to roll with that to begin with, and then they decide, hey, we had Cam Payne for half a year. Let's move the man. Let's get a center in exchange for him for a team that needs a point guard. The Knicks obviously run very deep guard-wise, so they do have that chance to do so. Now, they could also still move Deuce around the deadline and then get a center probably better because Deuce McBride is a more positive asset than Cameron Payne is. So that's also an option to work with, and it's definitely something that I'd find very interesting to see if they would do, because when you look at the Knicks, they need a backup center who can be proven. Mitchell Robinson is great. I think he could totally be a starting center on a championship team. But you know at some point he is going to deal with some injuries. And when the injuries kick in, you're going to start losing games if you don't have someone who can actually be a good rotational center. And then who the hell is your backup? Like, really, that's what it becomes. Like, yeah, Jericho Sims is a fine third-string center. I like him as a third-string center. I don't want him to be anything more personally. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. I think Jericho Sims, where it stands right now, he's 26 years old. We haven't seen much improvement over the time he's been in the NBA, and that worries me because Tom Thibodeau and Othello Harrington are really good at producing good centers. So the fact that Jericho has not really improved while Precious did in a few months is very worrisome to me. So the Knicks are going to have to figure that out. And that definitely will affect their point guard game because they're going to have to trade a guard for whether it's Deuce, whether it's eventually Cameron Payne. It won't be Tyler Kolek. Yeah, you have the rights of Rakas Jokubaitis, but I don't think Rakas is going to come over and play looking as that he would be the fifth option at point guard. The Knicks have enough guards where they might just try to use him as trade bait. Now, I doubt he has much, if any, value at all because he's just a draft and stash prospect. But it seems like he wants to come over to the NBA now. I made a few videos on that in the past. So maybe the Knicks could use that, but I don't think it'll sweeten the pot that much. They're going to need to go out and give someone of some value if they want a center who can start on teams. Whether that's a Walker Kessler or someone else, maybe Nick Richards, who's been my guy. I like the idea of Nick Richards because he's cheaper than Walker Kessler. I think also the Knicks can wait on it and wait halfway through the season, then trade Cameron Payne in a couple seconds for Nick Richards, and boom, problem solved. So I'm definitely curious to see what goes down here with that. But also, Begley, he said a lot, so we're just going to continue on with this. because he mentioned that he thinks Cameron Payne is going to get significant minutes in that second unit with the Knicks, be the floor leader for the bench unit, which would assume that would include Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, maybe Deuce McBride, and also the center. And Begley said he doesn't know if Cameron Payne would have came here without the idea of getting consistent minutes, as he's been someone who's been in rotations for a while now. So if he's looking to just be a third stringer, that'd be kind of strange that he came to the Knicks. But also on top of that, Begley then mentioned today that rookie Tyler Kolek is currently the backup point guard ahead of Cameron Payne, per people familiar with the matter, and the Knicks were thrilled to get Payne last week, but at the moment he's viewed as the third lead guard behind Tyler Kolek. It does make you wonder, where in this situation is Deuce? Are they rolling with him at the 2? I think Deuce is more of a shooting guard personally. So maybe they're doing that. And it makes Cameron Payne more tradable in a few months if you don't want to get your center right now. Maybe you want to wait and see what happens. That's understandable, and I'm honestly fine with them doing that. But they're going to need another center for the playoffs in case you lose Mitch, or they're just going to be in some trouble. Like, honestly, yeah, you have Julius who can make up for the rebounding and stuff, but you need that rim protector as good as your defense already is. They're way more prepared this playoffs, if they're healthy, to be without Mitchell Robinson than they were last year. And obviously Hartenstein was there, but there was no real backup for him that often outside of Precious. And I just think with how deep the Knicks go, how OG Anunoby can guard big men pretty successfully. You have Mikal Bridges and Dante DiVincenzo, both great defenders. If OG has to step off a perimeter defender and guard a big man, you have Julius's rebounding and size and strength and working down low that'll help. But at the same time, it does make you wonder what's going to go down. Now, if they like Tyler Kolek, it gives you a lot more incentive to move Cameron Payne at the deadline. Also, I like Cameron Payne as the lead backup guard or the lead third-string guard because it'd be both for the point guard and the shooting guard position. Cameron Payne would slide into either one of those when needed. He's a good shooter. He's done a lot of good things at the NBA level, and I'm a fan of his game personally. I'm also a fan of Deuce's game. And that being said, let's look at their stats because one of them is not ending the season on the Knicks. Whether it's Deuce, who puts up 8 points per game while being a phenomenal defender and also shooting 41% from 3. Excellent corner 3 shooter, shooting 46% from there. Really just a catch-and-shoot guy. 58% of his shots are threes. I honestly think that's going to go up as time goes on with the way that he's shooting that ball. Teams are just going to want him to keep shooting that 3, whether it's the Knicks or someone else. Hopefully it's the Knicks. And then also with Cameron Payne, who I think the Knicks are going to look to trade at some point this season. He's putting up 7.5 points per game and 2 assists per game. I think those numbers are going to drop when he's not consistently in the rotation, when they start to move towards Tyler Kolek a little bit. Payne shoots all right from three-point range. 39% is nothing to sneeze at. Unfortunately, he's not great in the corner, but he can create his own 3 pretty well. He's got very good shot creation. I really liked the Cameron Payne pickup. I know it didn't make much sense, and people were kind of like, why are they doing this? But I thought it was a good idea for the Knicks. They're going to need to figure something out because whatever happens with their point guards is going to affect what happens with their centers, and that is going to solidify this championship rotation. And I want to know, what do you guys want to see them do? Do you guys want to see them roll with Cam Payne and maybe use Deuce and some picks, some second-round picks, obviously, to get a very good backup center who could genuinely be a starter at the NBA level? Would you rather them wait it out, maybe try out Skabinistev and see how he is with Jericho Sims' improvement? I mean, the man's shooting jump shots now, and hope that Mitch stays healthy. Do you want to roll with that option and keep the deep bench of guards and maybe halfway through the season move Cameron Payne if you have to, or maybe still move Deuce? I want to know what y'all think, so let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Today's a weird day. Joe Biden just dropped out of the presidential race, and you know what that means, guys? I'm officially going to leave Knicks Digest to run for president. Well, that's obviously not happening because I speak about as well into a microphone as Joe Biden and Donald Trump's each of their senileness combined. Can't even figure out how to say it. Go Knicks, guys.